Hi, this is Sarah Price, and you're listening to the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota of Escondido.
You're on, guys.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota Escondido. If you're just joining us, we just got off a great interview with the Myers Girls Racing. Brittany and Tamara Myers here of Toyota Escondido Action Sports, racing their off-road cars. I'm Jim Holtis, Dan McGranahan, Ricky Johnson, and we're sitting here live. We're your hosts. Don't forget, you can follow our social media at TE Action Sports. What's so funny?
I'm Jim. It just sounded funny to me.
Well, hey,
sometimes it cracks me up, man. He's funnier than he gives himself credit for. You're a funny guy, man.
Funny like how? How am I? Am I here funny? Am I here to amuse you? How am I funny? Funny how?
I'm Jim.
You're funny in a stupid way. We're
like
laughing
I'm a clown?
at you. We're laughing at you. Okay?
Not with me. I get it. All right. Well, hey.
But Amanda Woods, you left her out, so she's not here. So we want to make sure that we do not forget about her. She's up at the Interbike with great prizes, as Dan said. So
yes,
find Amanda Woods and say, I want all of my great prizes.
I want the Action Sports Show free Heinekens.
There we go. There's a Heineken for everybody in the bar. All right, let's get on with it.
Dan, bring on our next guest.
Oh, I'm happy to. This is a kid that I've had the pleasure of knowing for quite a few years now and watching his career as he's gone from being a guy on 80s and 60s, just never let up, never let in, and has powered his way, not the elevator ride to the top, but the guy that just never lifted and is still not lifted, and now it's really starting to pay off. I promise you, you will know this name for a long time to come, everybody. Welcome Thomas Covington to the show.
Thomas.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
So, all right. I've known Thomas for a while.
Hey.
Watched him on 80s, was phenom, had gotten hurt, didn't win as many Loretta's titles as you would have liked, but always the threat, always right there. And you made a big step and you went to Europe. So give us a little bit of background just to educate, because, I mean, I know some of it and I can sit and brag about you all night long, but let's go from you're in Wisconsin, racing mini bikes. Take it away.
Yeah, well, actually, I grew up in a tiny town in Alabama, Vernon, Alabama, about 2,000 people there, two stoplights, and there wasn't much to do except ride motocross. You know, my two older brothers, Alex and Tyler, they got me into it, and started out riding the little PW, and ended up going to Loretta Lynn's when I was 5 years old, and I got my first championship there, so that's where it all started for me.
And then from there, you obviously you were a Team Green guy for a lot of years and won more championships. And I met your dad that some people might not know, Mitch Covington. We started the Torque Series together. He was helping rep Johnny Greaves and the Greaves family, and
I knew that.
Some sponsorships and stuff like that. And but what they don't know is that he was peddling garbage trucks. So if you can sell a garbage truck, you can sell anything. And sure enough, Mitch, your dad and I put everything together on the Torque Series, and now he's the VP of motorsports over at Monster.
Yeah, it's cool to see how far he's come since back in the day when he was selling garbage compactors, you know. It's pretty funny when I tell people what he used to do. It's like... it's a cool story for sure. He works hard. But
that's what I love about motocross, is that it doesn't matter who your father is or whatever. You've had to make your own route, you know, and you've had to do your own thing, and it you made a conscious decision between, do I go after a Supercross Lights championship or go to Europe? And what was the hinging, what was the factor that made you go to Europe? Because a lot of young guys don't have the balls or the gumption to head over to Europe, and now you're there full time.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't the typical move for a guy coming out of the amateurs, you know. I actually had a signed contract with Pro Circuit to race outdoors and Supercross in 2014 and 15. And before the outdoor started in 2014, an opportunity came up to go to the first three rounds of the World Championship in Qatar, Thailand, and Brazil. Wow. So, I couldn't say no to that.
So basically what I'm hearing is adventure knocked, like world global adventure knocked, because you had the deal to go ride for the Pro Circuit Mitch Payton team. That's the dream deal for a lot of amateurs at that stage, you know. Used to be more of a dream than it is now, but it's still the dream deal. And you had it, and you chose, and this world opportunity came knocking, and you really saw value in it and decided that's your path.
Yeah, well, I mean, even when I decided to go to the first three, I was still planning on coming back and racing the outdoors here for Mitch. I mean, that's what I've been dreaming about, since I was a little kid in Alabama, riding for Mitch Payton. That's
Alabama. It's all about riding for Mitch Payton and cheering for Ole Miss.
Well, it's Crimson Tide, boy. You want to start a fight with Mitch, his dad, or any of his family. Do not disgrace the
Roll Tide,
Roll
baby.
Tide, exactly.
That's right, Roll Tide.
But yeah. So and I did. I didn't mean to overshoot the Alabama connection, but you guys were living up in Wisconsin. That's when you guys met with
Yep.
you and CJ were riding together the local tracks and stuff like that. Which let's do a little segue there. You know, your teammate, your monster teammate, CJ Greaves, has been kicking butt in the Torque Series, world champion this weekend, also won the Cup, won 2 championships.
Triple crowned it.
Yeah, I mean, he's done that time and time again this year. So is his dad letting him win, or is he that much better than Johnny? I got my opinion, but I want to hear yours.
I don't know. I mean,
No, yeah, you do
I haven't been around the races that much lately. You know, I've been in Europe the last 2 years, but I could not see Johnny letting CJ win. That's just, there's no way Johnny would let that happen.
You're saying that Johnny's been sucking this year and getting his butt kicked week in and week out by his son.
Yeah, I mean, I think CJ's just got, you know, he's willing to hang it out there a little bit more than Johnny. Now, Johnny's
Does Johnny still finish in
getting
second?
a little bit older.
Ish?
Yeah, well,
Man, wow.
honestly, here's what I see. Here's what I see. And I raced against Johnny, I raced against CJ, and Johnny refuses, because we've both seen him on a motocross track. He's berserko on a bike. He's no finesse. He doesn't change his lines. He just goes faster, faster, faster. And to me, he keeps trying to bring a bigger hammer when he needs a screwdriver. And CJ is willing to change his line, change his setup a little bit. And I think Johnny has given him a phenomenal truck. I mean, the thing works so well. So, you know, Johnny is, I'd say 80% of the reason that CJ is winning, not because he's letting him buy, but he's given him that great of a tool. His trucks work phenomenal. But when I watch him race back and forth, I see Johnny doing similar to what he did with me, and he was so dominant for all those years as a guy that he just keeps bringing the same thing. As TJ's been outsmarting him a little bit. So,
yeah, you know, it's cool. It's cool to see how well CJ's doing, though. You know, when I was growing up with him, hanging out all the time. He kept telling his dad, "No, I don't want to be a truck racer. I'm going to be a motocross racer." So we were always riding and training together. And
he can ride a heck of a dirt bike too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were always actually pretty close in speed. Yeah, he was awesome, especially on this Wisconsin tracks. On his home tracks, I could never beat him up there.
I think we're going to ultimately see CJ all the way into the NASCAR realm. I think that's where his trajectory is heading right now. But I don't want to get stuck on CJ.
No, I want to get back to him. I couldn't agree with you more. Let's talk about you. You're racing in Europe. Where are you living over there?
Right now, I'm living in Holland. Yeah.
And the board operator's throwing
waters at
Holland
everybody.
is in Amsterdam, right?
Amsterdam is in
Holland.
Holland.
or that, yeah, that's how it works. I didn't have my
World
map.
traveler, Dan.
That's where Damien's
Anyways, point being, there's not a lot of rules there, man. And I know you're a good Christian kid.
Yep.
But what's it like being in a place like that? Have you seen some wild stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Amsterdam's known for being pretty open place. You know, they don't outlaw many things there. It's just anything goes. But you know, where I'm staying, I'm in like a really small town, kind of like where I'm from in Alabama, and a lot of farmers around. And
So you're just focused. Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
there's really
you have to be.
there's
good.
not much going on except training and riding. You know?
How does it work living over there so much? Do you have a relationship? Do you have a girlfriend back at home? How's that whole thing work for a guy like yourself? I can't imagine it's easy.
No,
It's
you know,
not.
having a girlfriend is just not really. Yeah, it's not possible. You know, when I'm never in one place for more than
Ain't got time for that.
a month or so. You know.
Yeah.
So it's just it's tough with that.
So now, who are you riding for? Obviously, you're on Kawasaki, but who's the team, and how does that whole work?
Yeah, the team is Monster Energy Kawasaki racing team. It's the factory Kawasaki effort over there, And
They're based out of Holland?
yep, they're in Holland. And yeah, a lot of the guys that work on the team are French. It's actually a French team, but the shop's in Holland. And yeah, those guys they've just taken me in the last 2 years and been like a family to me.
Now, have you learned Flemish or French?
No, they actually speak Dutch in Holland, and I've tried to learn a little bit, but the thing is, just about everyone there speaks English. So even if I try to say something in Dutch, they're like, "What do you want? Like, just speak English."
Just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
So have you crossed the whole conversation about freedom fries and stuff like that?
Freedom fries. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, fair enough. You don't need to know. It's just
Hey, I want to get back
a
to
French thing.
you took those first 3 races in Europe when you were making your ultimate decision. You were still plans to go
Yep.
back there. I want to finish off
Yeah.
on how that came about and if those are still goals of you to go into those.
Yeah, well, I did the first 3 of the World Championship, and they went really well. I got 3rd place in my first ever professional race, and yeah, that was unreal. And then in the next 2, I was still in the top 5 in a few motos and top 10s. And so after that, there was a little break in their series, and the teams over there were asking, "Yeah, would you like to stay?" And
Kind of kicking it around, entertaining the thought at this point.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, after those first 3 is when I really started seriously thinking about it. And after I saw the deal and the 2 options I had, I was like, I just thought about it and prayed about it for a couple of weeks and didn't get much sleep. But I just thought going to Europe and traveling the world was something that I couldn't pass up. It's just a awesome opportunity.
Oh, it's amazing, and you've been making the most of it. And what you did, you kind of showed up and you really showed out really quick. Like you said, you 3rd in that first race, and then when you settle in, it was more like, okay, now I've got to settle in and do this consistently, and you're starting to do that. And the biggest thing that can happen in a racer's life happened to you last week.
Yeah, it's been a long 2 years since that first podium in Qatar. Definitely had its struggles, just with bike setup and getting used to the European tracks is something that's quite a bit different than what I'm used to riding on here at Paula and Lake Elsinore. Just totally different riding style.
Well, you've still been showing a lot of speed and nipping at that podium, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've shown that I had the speed to be up there. Yeah, multiple times. A lot of times that's been happening on Saturday, which is qualifying day, and I'll be in the top 3 at those, like quite a bit. But then on Sunday, I never could seem to get it together until last weekend in Mexico.
And things just fell your way, or do you feel like you did something differently, or what do you think? Do you feel like it was just your time?
Yeah, really, I think it was just all the hard work and everything I've been doing the last 2 years. It finally all came together. Me and my dad has this saying. Whenever I'm working and things aren't going my way, it's just like, just keep chopping wood. Sooner or later, that tree is going to fall. Just keep chopping. So the tree fell for me last weekend, and yeah, it was just a huge blessing. It was amazing.
That's such a good old Bama boy saying right there.
That's awesome.
Oh, no, I've heard.
Yeah, my dad's full of them.
He's got. That's just one.
Yeah.
Wait till when he starts ordering guacamole. That's when you know some sayings are about to come out.
Yeah.
Settle in, boys.
No.
Yeah.
But I remember the first national that I won is at the last round at Carlsbad. I was fortunate for me that, unfortunately for him, Mark Burnett blew his shoulder out because he was so dominant that year. He 99% sure he would have won both motos anyways, but he wasn't there, and I was able to pass Johnny O'Mara. And I'll never forget that feeling when I was out in front, and even the thought of the win was attainable. You know what I mean? Because so to walk the people through what you told us before the show, that you got out in front and then you started hammering, you got up to like a 15-second lead.
Yeah, in the second moto was second off the start, and the guy in front of me was a rookie. It's only his second race, so I knew I kind of had him, and just took my time and waited on him to make a mistake, and went by him on like the 3rd lap. But then I still had 30 minutes of the race left, and so yeah, my mechanic was just giving me the lap times on the board, and I started setting the fastest times of the race just laying down good laps. And I was just really in the zone, And then towards the end, the pressure started to hit me a little bit with like 10 minutes to go. I'm like, man, I could really win this thing. And there's another guy that I race against, Tim Gauser, rides for Honda over there. He's in the points lead, most likely going to win the championship this weekend at Glen Helen. If he would have passed me, he would get the overall.
Right.
So he could see me off in the distance. Whenever he'd go over the jump, he'd look for me, and he was just going for it, trying to catch me. And I could see the gap every lap on the pit board. It was closing about a second a lap, and he was just getting close enough to where I had to keep pushing to stay focused, not make any mistakes. And but ended up pulling it off, and it was just an unbelievable weekend.
But let me tell you, you're a different creature now. Now you've won. Now you've tasted, you've tasted blood, you've tasted victory, and it's not a mystery anymore. You know what I mean? You remember what it was like when you were making the steps. You went from 60s to 80s, and you struggle a little bit. Then you win. You're like, oh, hey, I can win. Then you start winning. Then you go up into the lights or the 125s. You struggle. So you're climbing that food chain as you go along. So they're going to have a different animal in Thomas Covington from here on out. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your mom and your dad and your brothers, because I know how proud your family is of you and everybody down in Alabama and stuff and that. So how do you feel, and what's the plan for this weekend? Just kill it, because you're not really points racing. Now it's about, winning.
Oh, but let me jump on that also. America has really loved following you. We went over there with all this hype to follow Villapoto, and he fell out of our line of sight, and it's you now. And so I'm not putting that on you on pressure. I want you to feel excited to know that America is following you big time. America, they're following you. And this weekend is going to be a race that we're going to definitely be, as a nation, really pulling for you to have another splash. And we're going to go to break, and then we're going to come back,
find out
what's in
store,
because
what the
there's
plans
a lot
are.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to break, folks. The Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. Talking with Thomas Covington. We will be right back with a whole lot more. Don't go away.
For over 35 years, your friends at Toyota of Escondido have worked hard to take the hassle out of buying or leasing a new Toyota. And now they're pleased to offer you no-cost key replacement and roadside assistance with every new Toyota purchase or lease.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
Losing your keys is not only a hassle, but can be costly. Some new keys can cost as much as $500, and you really don't want to be stranded on the road all by yourself. Please ask for complete details on this exclusive offer from Toyota of Escondido.
Toyota of Escondido.
Freeway Close, where Highway 78 meets Broadway, just east of the 15.
Hi folks, Jim here, and I want to talk to you about Slime Tire Sealant. Racers in all classes of motorcycles, ATV, bugs, cars, trucks are using Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flats, including pre-runners. Smart teams are even using slime inside their trailer tires too. I mean, how many tires do you have? Think about it. Do you have motorcycles, ATVs, cars, trucks, trailers, wheelbarrows, mowers, and bikes? How many flats have you had in the last year? Maybe the answer is none. Maybe you're due for one. How much time and money can flat tires cost you? How about just the peace of mind? Nobody likes flat tires at all. Just pre-install Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flat tires. Slime is a liquid tire sealant that easily installs after taking out the valve core of the tire with the tool provided. Once inside, slime seeks out and seals punctures instantly and repeatedly, and is guaranteed for 2 years. Slime is non-toxic, non-combustible, water-soluble, and does not void tires' warranties, unlike that other stuff in the can. Go for Slime in the Gallon for all your off-road tires. If it isn't green, it isn't slime. Put trust in your tires. Slime, there's no stopping you.
What's up? This is Ronnie Feist, and you're listening to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota of Escondido Action Sports.
You're on, guys.
It'll rot your brain, ruin your good name, take money for your shame.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. We are live here. Jim Holtis, Dan McGranahan, and Ricky Johnson. Amanda Wood's not in tonight, and we're sitting here talking to our great guest, Thomas Covington. Dan, why don't you just tee off? We were talking a little bit about representing the United States as we went to break.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about he's getting ready to go race this race for everybody listening this weekend. MXGP is going to slam right into Devore, California, and that's Glen Helen motocross track, national track here in Southern California. Very famous track, a track that Thomas has a lot of experience with. And you've been here riding actually for a few weeks before you went to Mexico. And of course, I've been sniffing around like, okay, what kind of times are we seeing? What are you guys seeing out of Thomas at the track? Sorry, it's Tomas now. What are we seeing out of Tomas at the track?
The S is silent.
The word on the street is that you're blitzing the top 250 guys times and then some that are over here. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this like Euro surgeons right now, where I think you're racing some really fast guys, and it's really got you at a pace that's pretty impressive, maybe even above what we're seeing out of our top 250 guys outdoor right now. Apparently at Glen Helen, you've been blistering. So what can we expect from you?
Yeah, I think for sure at Glen Helen I should be doing pretty well. I mean, there's going to be other American guys there too who also do a lot of testing there every week, just like I have. And but I'm definitely looking forward to racing in front of the home crowd. I've been racing for 2 years over in Europe. The European fans they're unbelievable. But it's always cool to come home and race in front of your family and friends, and I think that's going to give me some extra motivation to really kill it this weekend.
Have you found when you're racing over in Europe that, or at least this is what we found when we were over there, is that when I say we, O'Mara, Bailey, Ward, and stuff like that, the American racers, we go over there.
I thought that was a French term.
No, it is, but not used that way. That if I'm in France, I want to be the second in their heart. Obviously they're French fans, but they do not want the Belgians to win, and they don't want the Dutch guys to win or anything like that. Have you found that you sort of fall in as the stepbrother when it comes to where you go, or?
I haven't felt that really at all. I mean, for sure, the European fans are really loyal to their guys. Like Italian guys are really loyal to Caroli. Yep. They love him, but at the same time, they love seeing an American racing the GPs. It brings another audience in, and it sort of, makes their series look more.
It legitimizes it.
Yeah, for sure.
No question.
Because America has always been known for having the best motocrossers, and to have an American racing the full series makes it look a little bit better.
Now, at the beginning of the season when Ryan was racing, did you guys get to hang out and discuss lines or do anything like that? Or was he in his camp and you were in your camp?
He was more in his camp and I was in mine. We were on a little bit different schedules. I mean, he was testing in South France and Italy, and just two different schedules. The only time we really got to hang out was at the races.
So he was in all like the resort villages testing, and you were like out at the farms.
He's in the ghetto.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just didn't do that much testing in different places other than in the sand in Holland, because that's where I needed the most work.
Right.
But at the races, for sure, me, him, and Tyler Rattray, we'd walk the track together and talk about lines and about the track, and it was definitely cool having him over there.
Now, when you go out there and you ride and you watch the GP MX1 class and that. Who impressed you besides Caroli? I mean, you watch the guy. He reminds me a lot of Jean-Michel Bell back in the day. Very finesseful, but unbelievably fast. Who impresses you out of all, not just your class, but also the MX1 class?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, Caroli, he's a machine. But one guy I've really looked up to this year is Roman Fevre on the Yamaha. He's been unbelievable this year.
And where's he from?
He's from France.
He's a French guy.
Yeah.
Not so.
And
so give me shoot me straight right now, because you probably know. What are we running into with this Des Nations thing? Are we going to see a French team that's going to blow our minds?
I would say the French team's going to be really strong, especially being at home. And they've got three really solid guys. They're going to be...
Is that guy Roman one of their guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was saying before, Roman, I mean, some guys think, yeah, he's only winning because the other 4 guys are injured or whatever. But ever since he won his first GP, he's just really stepped it up. He's been really focused and
I know a guy that just won his first GP.
I've heard stuff like that.
I know.
Yeah,
I hear that can happen.
If we could just remove that from his speech, I think
know.
he'll be awesome.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, Mitch, don't text your kid while he's
In an interview.
yeah, during an interview. So
Guacamole.
Go back to having a drink and some guacamole. Anyways, so this weekend you got everything going. Are you gonna? Because when I raced GPs, I never did the whole season, but I went head to head for after Joe Bay and the guys that were racing against Danny Laporte, who was going for a world championship. It's going to be kind of cool because you're going to get the guys that, of course, most Americans are arrogant and they want to win everything, so they're just going to go out there and try to go fast. But I think you'll find that if it comes to shove, I think your fellow Americans will give you a little bit of leeway, and I think it's going to be cool when you get the support when you go to the races. These guys that didn't know you before are going to be, I think, you're going to have fans out there racing with you, which is pretty cool because you know what it's like. You're all racing for a championship. Now you come to your playground like you went to theirs, and now you got guys on your side. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think they'll really technically be on my side.
But if they had to pick between you or them, they're going to pick you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if I was going for a championship, they would definitely be helping me out, I would hope. But
There'd be some "Let Thomas buy" signs going on out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so. But yeah, I think them racing against me now, I raced against them for years as an amateur.
Right.
And I think we all want to see who's progressed the most over the years,
Oh, okay. So he just opened the box right now.
No, he
just cracked the box. He's such a cool customer. He doesn't usually let us into this.
Says, I'm going to whip some ass.
He just cracked the box. Yeah, we want to see who's.
I'm going to roll some
we want to see
tide
where
on
we
bottom.
stand.
Like, I think as far as the other American guys, they'll be going for a win.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not worried about the championship or whatever. They're just going for the win and letting it hang out.
Do we know what other Americans are expected to show up?
Yeah, I think the Troy Lee KTM guys are going to ride it.
Okay, so you got like McElrath and
Yep. Nelson,
and
yeah, and then the pro circuit guys, so Aldridge and Savachi.
So you're not
that'll be
worried
cool.
about any of those dudes?
Oh, for sure, that'll be good.
They'll be good. Nelson will be good. McElrath will be good.
I think all of us Americans should be real strong at Glen Helen.
So at this point, you can't say Glen Helen. Where's your favorite place to race? You mentioned Dubai and in France and stuff like that. As far as what do you like? As far as I know you like Mexico, but as far as location, as far as it was just a great place to visit and track condition, I like. So, what's the coolest place to go?
The coolest place this year was Argentina. We're down in Patagonia, and it's just a beautiful place. Reminded me a lot of Mammoth.
Right.
And the track was...
Track too?
Track was awesome. It was big and wide, fast, cool jumps, and the fans were unbelievable. There's like 40,000 people there. They were all up in the trees, and
That's awesome.
They bust them in. They were going nuts over Villapoto.
Yeah.
Like, he had to have bodyguards everywhere he went because they were just mobbing him.
And then what's your favorite track?
Well, yeah, I liked Argentina.
Yeah. So it gets
Location,
both
track,
places.
everything. Argentina was amazing, yeah. And also, Matterley Basin in England's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's it's a legendary track. It's a little bit American style, and also the fans are cool there. It's sort of down in like
American style means jumpier.
Not a little harder dirt.
It's pretty loamy dirt, like quite a bit of traction and bigger jumps and a little bit faster. It's not so technical. You can actually open it up a little bit out there. So that's actually where I went my first time out of the U.S. in 2013. I went and raced the European 250 class. And that was my first experience in Europe.
Now, what about some of these like Euro Supercrosses, like Bercy and this one in Spain and some of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I've only done one of those German supercrosses 2 years ago, and it was a cool experience for sure. I didn't do so good. I didn't even make the main event, but those guys are good at their thing, you know. They've been doing it for a while, and they know how to win on those little tight tracks. You know, it's smaller than
They're arena cross tracks.
Yeah, sometimes smaller than arena cross.
Wow.
Yeah, you're the bike for second gear only, and that was back when we had 2 strokes, because you start in second and you leave in second the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just adjust your rear sprocket up or down one tooth, and that's where you lived all night.
Now, when you see really awesome events like the Monster Cup, does that kind of make you go, oh man, I would like to be part of that?
Well, yeah, I was part of the Monster Cup for
Quite
3
a few
years,
yeah.
in the Amateur All-Stars class, and it was cool for sure. I loved it. But for me, Supercross just hasn't really been my thing. Like I got a 4th at Monster Cup. It wasn't too bad, and I never really struggled with Supercross that much. Just I really enjoy racing outdoors. I think that's where I do the best.
So what about the straight rhythm? Does that intrigue you?
I don't know. For me, the straight rhythm just doesn't get me going.
Is it Supercross without corners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too crazy about the straight rhythm.
So with that said, give us your 5-year goal plan, like we talked about with the Myers girls. What's on your agenda, would you say, in the next 5 years?
Right now, I'm just planning on staying in Europe and racing for the next 2 years, and after that, see how it's going, see what my options are, and decide what I want to do next.
Hey, we got a question from our 4th co-host who's listening in, Amanda. And she said, ask Thomas if the FIM really made him cut his hair and what his thoughts are on that. I've never heard of this happening before.
Yeah, I figured you guys would touch on this a little bit. But
Giuseppe's not listening, so you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, and this isn't recorded.
Well,
it's recorded. Be careful what you say.
They're listening.
no, it's not bad.
The FIM is everywhere.
Who was that?
He's in the parking lot.
But yeah, I was growing my hair out, you know. I'm a big Leonard Skinner fan. I play a little guitar.
You're such a Leonard Skinner fan anyways. You looked it too.
And I was just having a little fun with it, you know, be a little bit different. All the Euro guys, you know, they have the same clean cut, nice haircut.
The Roxon.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to be a little bit different. And I made a deal with my mechanic, Renee, that I wasn't going to cut my hair until I got a
you
podium.
Have a girl that's a mechanic?
No, it's a guy.
Oh,
Renee.
Oh, weird.
But anyway, I made a bet with him I wasn't going to cut my hair until I got a podium. So that podium wasn't coming as fast as I thought it would. And my hair was getting pretty long. And I came to Majora in Italy, and the FIM official came over, and he actually went to my team manager first. He's like, hey, you need to tell Thomas he needs to either cut his hair or tie it up, put it up.
Really?
Yeah, I guess there's something in the rule book about it, because a few years ago,
Scalpia.
yeah, I went in England, actually.
No.
A girl in the women's class
I'm
crashed.
not joking.
She
A
crashed.
girl in the
and-
women's class?
Yeah, crazy, yeah. But her hair got caught in the sprocket, and that was a pretty bad deal. So
So it's not a how it looks, it's like a safety feature?
it's a safety thing, yeah.
Huh.
Which is
Interesting.
pretty lame, but it is what it is.
It wasn't that long, was it?
In my opinion, it wasn't dangerously long, but they told me to cut it in Majora, and I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, I thought he was just joking. And then the next
I like
week,
the rebel. Look at you.
And then they ask again about it, and you're like, what? Are you serious?
I'm American. You don't tell me what to do.
Then in Germany, I came off the track from practice, and he pulled me off, and he said, hey, you need to do something about your hair. I told your team manager last weekend. I'm not joking. Like, I'm serious. You need to cut your hair. And
He was like Ricky. He had serious hair envy.
yeah, I think so.
I'm jealous.
But I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so we had like 2 weekends off. I came back here to U.S. and rode a little bit, and then flew straight back over to Sweden and still didn't cut my hair. And after that race, he said, if you don't cut your hair, then we're pulling you out of the race next weekend.
Wow.
So, yeah, I didn't really have
So
a
you cut
choice
your
after
hair?
that. So I cut my hair.
Wow.
Tell me about your race in Sweden. I have family in Sweden, and I'm curious, what was your race in Sweden like?
Sweden was not the best race for me.
Ah.
It's the track was
What track was
Pretty
it?
terrible, to be honest. The name of the track is Uddevalla.
Uddevalla.
Yeah.
Familiar with it? Okay.
Yeah, and like when you're packing your gate when you're packing your gate, it's just rocks.
Right.
It's like a gravel road. You can't even really pack any dirt in it. It's just like you try to clean out as many rocks as you can and go.
Right.
It's and the track's the same
hand
way.
guard up, put the body armor on, head down, and try not to get pelted too much. We got to go to break, and then we'll come back.
Hey, and Amanda says man buns are in right now. Grow the hair back, chicks dig it. So there it is right there. Amanda Woods said so.
She's been pushing the man bun.
I can't do the man bun. Man bun's against my morals.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. A lot more Action Sports Show to come. Don't go away.
And we're all entertained. What can you do? Great, get me great. The one name you should know, the best place you can go. Toyota of Escondido.
It's official. Once again, the truck pros at Toyota of Escondido sold more new Toyota trucks than any other Toyota dealer. That means more smart buyers like you trusted Toyota of Escondido's Truck Center to find them the right truck for work or play.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
It makes sense to buy from the truck sales leader. Let Toyota of Escondido customize your new truck to fit your active lifestyle. Choose from lift kits, custom tires and wheels, and much more. Come experience a whole new way to buy your next truck.
Toyota of Escondido.
Toyota truck sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
You're listening to Guy Talk, broadcasting live from the Sport Clips Haircuts locker room. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, boxers or briefs?
Speaking briefly, boxers. Unless you're a boxer, then I'd go briefs. Next caller.
I want to find my nearest Sport Clips, but I don't want to ask for directions.
It's not technically asking for directions if you use sportclips.com to find your nearest Sport Clips location, and no one will ever know. Let's take a break for a word from our sponsor, Sport Clips, where guys go to get an awesome haircut while watching sports on TV. Throw in our relaxing massaging shampoo and our legendary hot steam towel, and you've got our MVP haircut experience. Your head will be as majestic as a freshly mowed Major League outfield. Try it today. Last caller, you're on the air with Guy Talk.
So, how cool is getting a haircut at Sport Clips?
Oh, it's like stepping up to the plate and slam dunking a touchdown. That's all the time we have today. This has been Guy Talk, brought to you by Sport Clips, where it's good to be a guy.
Hey, this is Dean Wilson, and you're listening to the Action Sports Show.
You're on, guys.
Fame, fatal fame. It'll rot your brain. Ruin your good name. Take money.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. Jim Holtis, Dan McGranahan, Ricky Johnson. We're without our fourth team member tonight, Amanda Woods, but she's kind of helping commentate the show via text right now. So it's great to have. And we're sitting here talking with Thomas Covington. And real quick, we said we were going to do this earlier. Name some of your sponsors who are helping you along with your program right now.
Yeah, you know, Kawasaki and Monster Energy has been behind me since I was 8 years old, I think. So I definitely wouldn't be what I'm doing now without those guys. They've, especially when we'd show up to Loretta's and my dad was my mechanic and the bike would just be barely running. They took care of me for sure.
Is that awesome. A slight on your dad as a mechanic?
A little bit.
He's not a great mechanic.
I got to be honest, he's not the best mechanic.
No, he sells a mean garbage disposal.
He did his best. He worked a lot of hours. Compactor. Yeah. And for sure, Traxxas, Mike Jenkins, and those guys, they've helped me tremendously.
And what do they do? And how do they support your European dealers? Or just a personal sponsor?
It's just a personal sponsor, you know. And I take all my little RC cars around in my backpack to the GPs, and Traxxas is actually pretty well known in Europe too. And the kids just go crazy over it. Even my neighbors in Holland. They're always like out in the street playing with them. We'll go to the BMX track and you know, crash them all the time, breaking everything. But it's a lot of fun, and yeah, I love being a part of Traxxas. It's awesome.
Do us a favor. Send them an email and say, hey, the Action Sports Show guys need some Traxxas cars on set. Send them some out. Okay? Can you make
We'll
that
race
happen?
them live on the radio for everyone
Can you
to
make
see.
that happen?
Yeah, I might be able to work something there.
See what you can do.
No, Mike and those folks, some good folks, and support a lot of great people like yourself. So
Yeah,
big shout out to those guys.
Good guys.
So you're racing this weekend, and where is the last GP for the year? Is this it?
Yeah, Glen Helen's the last GP, the 17th round.
You're going to have a big support posse there in Rouen?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my family's flying in, and I know all my friends are coming. You know, I've asked all around the pits, like, hey, I need a lot of passes for this weekend because everybody's coming. So it should be an awesome weekend.
And then how has it been working with Giuseppe Luongo and Ursula and stuff like that? I know that Giuseppe started way back in the day. I haven't said it once tonight.
You haven't said it in a while.
That's why I've been gone. But back in the day, back when I used to race, is when Giuseppe got started, and he went off and did some car stuff, and then he came back and started Youth Stream and stuff. So how has it been working with him versus, you know, I mean, you didn't really do a lot with the pro ranks, but you've been around. How do you like that? Do you like it, or is it a little too stuffy for you?
No, I like the way Giuseppe does things in the GPs. You know, it's really everything's really organized and really professional. He tries to make everything a little bit like F1 or Moto GP.
Yep.
And I think that's really cool. That's one thing that I like about the GPs. And like this year, we had one race, actually the round before Mexico in Assen, where they have Formula One, Moto GP, really historic track. They built the motocross track on top of the circuit with the stands and everything, a little bit like Daytona. And just the paddock and the whole pits, everything was like really good. And they had suites out in the middle of the track, and it was an awesome event.
Well, when I've been watching it, it's the tracks have evolved. I think the national promoters could learn something from it because they're very jumpy. You know, a lot of the tracks got a lot of good jumps and stuff like that, but a lot of option lanes outside, and it's really wide, and it's so much rougher because there's so many guys running on it. The last couple laps of the second moto is just brutal. And I think that's hurt the American riders when it comes to the nations because they're not used to running that rough a track. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. The tracks over there, they get so brutally rough by the second moto on Sunday because sometimes we have 5 classes racing on the weekend. It's not only MX1 and MX2. It's European 250, 125, women's, 85s, and they don't really have time to prep the track in between. And then they don't really fix anything Saturday night unless it's really dangerous. So all they do is just put a little water down and the track gets rough. And I think that's what makes the GPs what they are. And I think I've developed a lot of skills riding those tracks like that I would have never gotten over here racing in the U.S.
No doubt.
But again, sometimes it gets a little bit past the point of a rough track and it gets dangerous.
Like, knock a rut down, okay? Come on.
Yeah.
We were trying to do this 100-foot gap jump or whatever, and you're scraping your pegs as you go through. What are you going to do in the off season? Are you going to take a little break? Are you going to stay home? You going back to Europe? What's the plan for you?
Actually, after Glen Helen, I'll head straight back over to Europe and start testing for next year. So.
Really?
Wow.
The kid is serious.
Yep.
Now, will you come back and watch the Monster Cup, or are you going to be over in Europe the whole time?
I'll actually still be in Europe that time. I'll be in Europe for a month and a half testing and training on those tracks that I've been struggling with. And then I'll be back over here in the U.S. to do some off-season training in November, December.
And so is it sand that you're struggling with?
Actually, the sand I've done pretty well at. The last 3 rounds before Mexico were all sand, and I was up in the top 10, top 5, all of those 3. So my sand riding's improved a lot over the last 2 years. It's really just the hard pack, rocky, sketchy tracks that I'm struggling with right now. I'm just a little bit too cautious, not letting the bike slide, and I'm just not used to doing stuff like that. So it's something I just need more time on.
Go to Lake Elsinore on a Wednesday when there's nobody out there. You want dry and sketchy and slick.
You want to go ride a skate park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so we've had a great time getting to know all about you, and I want to tell people where they can follow you. Thomas C64 on Instagram, and you've already got a couple 15,000 or something followers. So, but you can follow him there. You can follow him all over the world because he documents his where he's at pretty good there, and you can also find him on Facebook if you can figure out how to spell his last name.
That's Thomas C.
Appreciate you coming and being on the Action Sports Show while you're in town here. What better time celebrating the first big win and hopefully getting ready for the second one.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys had me on. I was pumped when Dan gave me the call.
Well, we've been wanting to have you on since we started this, and just waiting for you to get back in town, and really worked out perfect. How exciting for us to have you on the heels of your big win, and many, many more to come. I promise you, this kid will be on the top of the podium for a long time to come.